So in between faith and knowing, having proof of something is this area of conviction where you're like, I don't have no proof, but I know it. And I don't care what you think. This is what I'm doing. Because people will come to you and be like, but you've never done that before. Has it ever happened before? Has anyone ever done it before? No, but I ain't going to do it. The last time they had an event, it was $200 billion in the room. You have to apply, be interviewed, and get accepted, and it costs $1,500. And guess what? I applied, got interviewed, got accepted, and shout out to my partner who made sure I was in the room. If you know what I bet means. The I bet was, Nicole, you know what to do. You reverse engineered it. Now you just got to do it. And I literally did it in a matter of days. Actually, I know what book it is. It is Thou Shalt Prosper, 10 Commandments of Having a Lot of Money by Rabbi Daniel Lapin. And he said that when someone feels that they are right on a right side of a battle, they have like a 10-to-1 advantage. So you know you're a little bit wrong versus the person that knows that they are right. They know that they are justified. The person who is justified has some crazy advantage.
Let's go. Yes. Can never play a part y'all start. So real, it's all so live. It's better than success from the east to the west. Worldwide.
Welcome to episode 175 of the Better Than Success podcast, and I'm your host, Nicole Purvy. I always got a lot to share with y'all, so I'm not even like, I'm so excited to share all this stuff with y'all. I am. I feel like that every week. Let's just hop right into it. So I'm going to tell y'all a story. So last week, within a matter of mere minutes, two of my friends asked me pretty much the same question. Now, if it weren't for the fact that this was like minutes apart from like when I hung up with one person to when I talked to the other person, I probably would have never noticed that the same question was asked to me. And then it got me to thinking that like people always come to me for stuff like this. It's so bizarre. But let me tell you what the question is. They both basically was like, listen, I plan on making 2025 a big year for me. And you have this ability. Well, they was just like, I need you to help me. And I'm like, yeah, sure, I got you. And then I think after the second person, while I was on that second conversation, I was like, hold up, what made you ask me? Because it made me realize like, hey, I just hung up with somebody that asked me the same question. What made you ask me? And they danced around it. Maybe they couldn't articulate it. And they basically was just like, you have this gear that you know how to kick into that I haven't quite tapped into. And I'm like, what does that even mean? But okay, I'm going to help you. And when I started helping them in the first conversation, because what they were asking me really was, how do I get in the zone? Now, you may be wondering, like, what's the zone? Some of you may be like, I know what the zone is. I'm going to tell you right now that one, the fact that these people had asked me this question minutes apart, I realized that that is my superpower. Last week on this podcast, I mentioned that my superpower was that I am a business strategist. Yes, I'm a business strategist for sure. But more specifically, I have this ability to get in the zone. And I'm going to tell you this zone that I can get into at will. It's usually, I've probably lived 80 to 90% of my life in the zone. The times that I was not in the zone is because I willingly gave it up. I can think of two instances. One, right after I had my son, I just wanted to just be so present in the moment. I willingly gave it up. And it was great because all the work that I had did before, I had a huge influx of cash where I worked, but it was just like, I wasn't really working. I had just really basked in it for like maybe 2.5, 3 years. I just really enjoyed it. So I willingly gave up the zone. The second time was what got me. I know I've been talking about the year that shall not be named last year. The second time I willingly gave it up by mistake. I got so caught up in anxiety and fear, which I never really had before. And I'm going to be honest with you, I think about all these different things that got me there. This is the weirdest thing. This is the anxiety that got me there. When I let my nanny go and I transitioned to taking my son to school. And I think I had so much fear around taking care of my son by myself, because even though I've always been a single mom, like me and my son's father, we parted ways when I was 2 months pregnant. As you can imagine, it was probably a really bad situation. Yeah, it was. But we parted ways when I was 2 months pregnant. So I've been doing this thing entirely. When I say entirely, I mean entirely by myself since then. But reality, I wasn't. My nanny, she came in when my son was 3 weeks old. She was a friend of the family. She came in and helped run my household for 3 years. And then when it was time for him to go to school, I couldn't really justify keeping her on, because in order for me to keep her on part-time, I would have had to keep her on full-time, and she was not cheap. And so I had to run my house by myself. And I was just so scared of that. I had so much anxiety about that. And it turned into fear. And the fear turned into other things and so on and so forth. All this, and it spiraled out of control. One day I'll do a whole entire podcast episode about that. But that's neither here nor there. It spiraled out of control, and it got me to a point where I was not in the zone. Now, this last time where I was out of the zone and I struggled with getting back in the zone for a whole entire year, the entirety of the year that shall not be named, I struggled with getting back in for that entire year. Even though it wasn't fun, I kind of look at it as, and I'm telling you this, not because I want to talk about me, oh, I'm the center of the universe. And anything that I tell you, when I use my life as an example, I'm only telling you because I think there is some wisdom in my line of thinking, and I want you to look at your life in a similar way, because it's always, everything is working for me, right? Last year was not fun. Getting lost in fear is not fun, but here is the wisdom, and everything is working for me. As I pulled myself out of it, I was able to reverse engineer what I innately know how to do. Have you ever gotten advice from someone on how to do something, and they're teaching you and they're like, just do it. And you're like, wait a minute, how did you do that? Did you flick it twice? And they're like, no, just do it. And this is a natural born gift to them, but they can't explain it because they don't even know what they do. And so I think prior to that season that I went through, there were certain things that I couldn't teach. There were certain things that I couldn't share because I didn't know why I know what it is that I know how to do. But in me struggling with getting back in the zone, we'll still talk about what the zone is in a minute. With me struggling with getting back in the zone, I was able to reverse engineer what I already know how to do. And that's how the God Goals and Money Income Accelerator came about, because I was reverse engineering everything for myself. Like, okay, you keep trying to do this way. It's not working. Okay, Nicole, let's start over from scratch. What do you know about every time you've ever done anything or pulled off anything amazing? How would you give yourself advice? And then I started outlining it, and then this whole curriculum was born out of it. And here's the kicker. I said this to y'all last week, but I cannot stress this enough. The story was so beautifully told because I then had to use the same framework that I created for you on myself. I want to stop telling this story about how my site went down and how I looked up and I had zero income streams, and I'm taking care of, I'm like, those few days was the scariest days of my life. I'm taking care of my son and my site is down. I have no idea how my next dollars come in. I'm literally offloading all my properties because I'm starting this fund. And so like my income is down from my rental income. And it's like, what am I going to do? And it's Christmas. It's literally Christmas. What am I going to do? But guess what? I saw this meme on TikTok. Haha. I saw this meme on TikTok where this person was saying, this guy was like, I bet means, it means a very specific set of things in Black culture. Like, okay, I ain't got no streams of income. I remember that day sitting on the steps in my dad's house. This was 3 weeks ago, not even a month ago, sitting in the steps in my dad's house, and I was crying, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm talking to my brother, and I remember the moment that I went from, oh my God, what am I going to do, to, all right, bet. Like, if you know what I bet means, right? And so the I bet was, Nicole, you know what to do. You reverse engineered it. Now you just got to do it. And I literally did it in a matter of days. I went from $0 income. I don't want to keep giving y'all numbers, but I made good money this month. And then it's all out the door. It's all of it is out the door. But I made good money. And so here is the beautiful part about this story. I want to make sure that I put this properly. I'm able to tell this story to show you that these principles work because you need this program. You need this program. I'm going to put on this screen all the modules. It's a 47 module program. I don't care what business you're in. This program will get you in the zone. Now, what is the zone? Okay. And I'm going to get back to the story about the conversation I had with the two friends. What is the zone? The zone is that space where you know you can do no wrong. Even when you do wrong, you know you can do no wrong. Now, some of y'all don't have no context of what I'm saying because you've never been in the zone, and that's okay. The reason that you've never been in the zone is because it does take a good amount of courage. I'm going to read off the list of things that need to be in place in order for you to get in the zone. I'm going to share that with you on this episode. But when you are in the zone, you cannot do wrong. Even if your bank account says zero, even if your bank account says negative quadrillion dollars, these are the times in the story. This is the Rocky moment in the story where you're like, yo, this bank account is so disrespectful, but I don't even care. It's already filled. I don't even care. Some people might get one or two of those in a lifetime. I'm telling you, I have a gift to be able to do it at will. It is bizarre. And here's the other thing. This sounds like Nicole. Nicole is so da, 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 da. Y'all know, for those of y'all who know me, know that I will be like, it's not doing good. So this is all like keeping it 100. My brother, when getting my website back up, it was a lot of menial tasks that had to be done. Like literally 2,000 trainings had to be loaded. So I had to teach him how to do it. And so he's been loading them all back into the website. So he's been coming over and just hanging out, and we've just been talking, and while he's loading everything onto the website. And one day we got into a conversation. And one thing about my brother is he is brutally honest. And he's just brutally honest. It just is what it is. Like, I'm his big sister, but like, you get no passes. Okay. And one day he was just like, yo, you know how many careers that I've seen you excel at, like at the top, and you're only 41? And I'm like, yeah, you're right. I don't want to read off my resume, but I've done some things, like a lot of things, and did them at the high level. And it's not because, oh, I'm just so this. I just have this ability to get in the zone at will. At will. Okay? I'm so happy to be back in the zone. I'm so happy to be back me. It feels good. But I can teach it to you because it's a set of very specific things. Now, I'm going to give you this list today, but when I give you the list, know that within each item, there are things that I need to explain. They have to be done in a certain way. So let me get back to the conversation and then I'm gonna give you the list. So had a conversation with the first person, gave them the list, immediately had the conversation with the second person, and it was like, what made you ask me this? And they would just basically tell me, like, you have this ability to get in the zone. You have this gear that I haven't been able to get into. And I said, then I went back to the original person and said the same thing to them. And they basically said the same thing. And then I was like, all right, so let me just make this list a thing. List of things that you have to have in place to get in the zone. I don't care. And here's the thing. If you want to steal my content, don't. Okay? I don't care who you are. You could be a athlete. You could be a professional cat whisperer. These things will get you in the zone and you can do no wrong. You can do no wrong. Okay? All right. So here are the list of things. By the way, these notes are from my God Goes Money Journal Gems. It's a newsletter that I send out every Monday, and it's pure game. That's it, pure game. And if you want access to get on the newsletter, to get my journal gems, my God Goes Money Journal Gems, go down in the link below. Here's a list. I'm gonna recite them off, and then I'm gonna go back and talk about each item. So you have to have all these things in place at the same time. You cannot not have one of them. But they're easy. One kind of lends to the other. The first thing is you have to have a clear purpose. Next one is mission. Next one is vision. The next one is surrender. The next one is conviction, gratitude, but the deep kind, certainty about your spiritual identity. You cannot despise and you cannot take offense to anything. All right, let's talk about each of these things. You have to have them all in order to get in the zone. Can you accomplish things by having 2 out of 11 of these, or I think it's 11, I can't remember. 2 out of 10 of these, can you accomplish things? Absolutely. Is it going to take you much longer? Yes. Is it going to be a much more stressful journey? Yes. And by stressful, I don't mean that you won't have any opposition. But what I mean is when you have opposition, you just be like, whatever. Somebody said something to me so stupid last week, and I was just like, whatever. I got like 4 people that I'm just looking at them like, they would stress people out, and I'm just like, whatever. Okay, anyway, let's talk about purpose. All right. This one is so intentional and so important. You have to have a clear purpose, know why you're here or know why your business is here. I read somewhere not too long ago that said that actually it's in I think it's like in The Art of War. It's a really good book. I can't remember what book it is. It's a very well-known book. Actually, I know what book it is. It is Thou Shalt Prosper, 10 Commandments of Having a Lot of Money by Rabbi Daniel Lapin. And he said that when someone feels that they are right on a right side of a battle, they have like a 10-to-1 advantage. So for instance, if you're battling with someone and you know you're a little bit wrong versus the person that knows that they are right, they know that they have an inheritance, they know that they are justified. The person who is justified has some crazy advantage. Crazy, right? That's what the purpose is. Purpose makes you justified in what it is that you are doing. This is why it's important to have a purpose that's outside of you, because now you feel like I'm doing this for everybody and everybody needs me and y'all need me and the people need me and y'all need me. And this is what gives me an advantage. You have so much of a winning advantage when you have a purpose. I'm not just saying this, like I'm saying it like from a scientific aspect. Okay. Purpose. Why you're here or what is your business's God-given reason for existing. Without a purpose, you'll drift. I've told you a million times, I know my purpose is to help other people get to their purpose. I know that. Period, point blank. And at this point, my purpose is to help you get in the zone. As long as I can help believers get in the zone, that means you are executing God's will on this earth. I know whose side I'm on. So listen, run it up. Run it up. I have a 10-1 advantage because I know what side I'm on. Thanks. All right, on to the next thing. Mission. What is your assignment? Because you can have a purpose, but not know what your assignment is. Like, so if I say, hey, I know that my purpose is to help people get to their purpose, right? What is the mission though? What are you? Hey, my goal is to, here's my mission, right? My mission is to solve 1,000 business problems every day. That is a mission that I have. My mission is to teach real estate investors how to scale, because anybody can teach you how to buy a single family. Anybody can teach you how to buy a multi-unit. You can learn that in 2 hours on a training. Anybody can teach you how to buy a 4-unit. But what about the process of going from nothing and scaling to like really having a real business that you can retire from your 9 to 5? Because you can't do that with 5 properties. You need at least 50 properties if you want to live a comfortable life. You need at least 50 units. That's scale. Okay. That's my mission. That's not my purpose. It's my mission. All right. The next thing you need to have in line is your vision. Where are you going? What are you seeing? What does this look like? What does it look like? I don't want to share my whole entire vision, but I'll just give you the financials. In the next 2 years, I'm building this into a $2.4 million business. That's the vision. I know exactly what I want my office to look like, what I want my next in-person team to look like, because y'all know I've had in-person teams. I don't have an in-person team right now. I know where I want it to be. I know I have a whole entire vision for how this whole thing is going to operate. Those 3 things sometimes can take months. Those 3 things I don't want to say it takes months. It takes a lot of concerted energy. Most people won't do it. They'll just have a plan, a loose base plan based off of something that they saw on the internet, and then just roll with it, and then just keep fumbling because you haven't sat and did this. Doing these 3 things. So if I say that purpose gives you a 10-1 advantage, these 3 things gives you like a 100-1 advantage over your competition. All right. The next one is surrender. This one is big. This one is real big. You have to surrender to where you are. We've talked about this on this podcast. If you are saying, I shouldn't be here, or I don't belong here, that is the first indication that you're not surrendering. Be real about where you are. This is what it is. When you got too much ego, you're trying to fake like you got a whole bunch of stuff going on. You feel like you need to impress the Joneses. You are not surrendering to your situation. So anytime you've ever seen me say, hey, this is not going great in the business right now, or shoot, I ain't got it right now. That's for me, not for y'all. I don't care what y'all think of me. That's for me to be like, you know what? I'm admitting that I'm surrendering to my situation. God, I ain't got no ego about this. Okay. The next one is conviction. I've talked about this on this YouTube channel before. If you're on listening via audio, I'll find a video where I talked about most people don't know the difference between faith and conviction. Faith, it's really a spectrum. And where doubt is on one end and knowing is on the other end. Knowing, you don't even need to know something. Knowing is an extreme end. Right before that is conviction. Conviction is more than faith. Faith has a little bit of doubt. Conviction is, I know that I have no proof that this is going to happen. I have no backtrack record of this going to happen, but I know that I feel convicted that it will. Knowing is having proof. You, in terms of spiritual laws, you need to have you can't have proof. If you have proof of something, then God really can't move in a situation. If you know it, where's your faith? Where's your conviction? And so you have to have a little bit more than faith, because our current definition of faith introduces this little bit of doubt. So in between faith and knowing, having proof of something is this area of conviction where you're like, I don't have no proof, but I know it. And I don't care what you think. This is what I'm doing. Did it happen yesterday? No. Did it ever happen before? No. But this is what's happening. Because people will come to you and be like, but you've never done that before. Has it ever happened before? Has anyone ever done it before? No, but I ain't going to do it. But if someone's done it before, I'm not saying that if someone's done it before, that means proof. But what I am saying is, like, if I want to raise my arm, I got proof that I can raise my arm. I've done it a million times before. Does that make sense? So you have to be in that conviction stage. If it doesn't, let me know in the chat. It better make sense. All right. The next thing is you got to have deep kind of gratitude. Most people, when they have gratitude, they have this like fake level of gratitude. And it's just like, I'm so grateful. No, you're not. I'm going to tell you the level of gratitude that you need to have. The level of gratitude, let me back up. I want you to tell me, have you ever been a victim, or has anything traumatized you in your life to the point where you feel like you are a victim in a particular area? Parent didn't raise you right, spouse left you, baby mama, baby dad ain't no good. And by no good, maybe they're not taking care of their kid. Someone punched you in the face, someone beat you up, you got shot. And the way in which you tell this story, do you feel like you are a victim? If you feel like you are a victim, it's very common. Victimhood and gratitude cannot exist in the same space. The deep gratitude. Now, this is why I was trying to say to you earlier, the reason why I tell you all these stories, because I'm trying to show you the wisdom in the way that I'm looking at any of the things that happened to me in 2024. I am grateful for them because they only set me up for success. This is how I want you to look at all the bad things that happened to you. I am grateful. I'm so grateful. And Paul talks about this in the New Testament. Yo, when you are afflicted, be grateful. Because anytime you had something bad happen to you and you see yourself as a victim, that implies that you are lacking gratitude. When you are a victim, this is like one of the things that defile you. When you see yourself as a victim. Okay. So gratitude. Talk about that. We talked about that on this last episode. Okay. Certainty. The next thing is certainty in your spiritual identity. Who are you? Are you certain of who you are in spiritual identity? There are a number of things that God tells us who we are spiritually. You are more than a conqueror. You are the righteousness of God. You are a spirit, not your body. Do you know this? Do you know this? The next one, this is real important. You cannot despise anybody. This is hard because people be doing some unlikable things that you can do. First time they be like, it's unlikable. You're like, I don't like what you did. I don't like what you did. Okay, I don't like that either. Okay, I don't like that either. I didn't like that either. Then it's finally like, I don't think I like you. And then they can grow into despising someone. That is also something that defiles you. This is why the scripture talks so much about forgiveness. It's not for them, it's for you. Because when you despise someone, you can't get in the zone. Because I still want to talk to you about what the zone is. That would have been perfect. Whatever. I still want to talk to you about what the zone is. All right. And the last thing, you cannot take offense to things that people do. This goes into the whole thing about being a victim. You cannot be offended, because being offended defiles you as well. Sometimes we hold on to being offended. I don't remember if I talked about this in the last podcast, but I'm gonna talk about this again. Part of my gift is the ability to be able to get into the zone. And one thing I never used to do is I wouldn't hold on to offenses. Somebody would do something to me and I would be like, okay. And then forget years later. I run into somebody and they'd be like, remember when such and such did that to you? I don't remember. That was pretty bad. I don't remember that. And then somebody did something a couple years ago to offend me. And I was so offended because I know I have this ability to forget. I wrote it down in my journal and I held on to it and it defiled me. And then not too long ago, I ripped those pages out, and I still have that journal. Ripped those pages out and shredded them and threw them in the trash. Because don't do it. No, okay? No. I can have a whole long conversation with you about why I feel like being offended and despising someone and being a victim. Let me tell you what it is. I believe it takes up a lot of space in your brain. And anytime you're in the zone, you need a lot of free RAM. If you think about like on your computer, you need a lot of free RAM. When you're holding on and you are preoccupying your mental neurons, and this is how I see it. You preoccupying your brain space with holding on to an offense that someone did to you. You're not using that brain space for your purpose, to be in that space of gratitude, to be able to do all the things that you have to do. Okay. So those are the things. Here is the other thing I want to share with y'all. Keep talking about getting in the zone. Getting in the zone is the scripture calls entering into the kingdom. The kingdom is a state of mind. The zone is a state of mind. I want to tell you, I made this list of things and then I corresponded it to the list of things in that Jesus says are the keys to the kingdom. For those of you who don't know, most people don't know because I've never seen this preached, pastored, or anything. Jesus tells Peter, I'm going to give you the keys to the kingdom. I'm going to give you the keys to be able to enter in the zone, the kingdom where you align your thoughts with God's thoughts. Okay. State of mind, where you align your state of mind with God's state of mind. And then 2 chapters later, he gives Peter the keys to the kingdom. He said, whatever you bound on earth will be bound in heaven. Whatever you loose on earth will be loose in heaven. That's basically saying, hey, you can manifest things from heaven, God's state of mind, into this earthly realm. Manifestation. And he gives them the keys to the kingdom. It's about 7 things. I'll go over it in our God Goals and Money. So the people who join the God Goals and Money Income Accelerator, they get access to, we do training. So with the Income Accelerator, you get, it's like 48 trainings plus like 20 workbooks that you can do at your own pace. But twice a month, we do live sessions, like kind of like office hours, where I'll do like a teaching and we can go over some stuff and answer your questions. And so the last one that we did, I went over it, and my whole point that I'm making is I pulled this stuff up out of what I know, but this just came from the Father because everything here corresponds to what Jesus says is the keys to the kingdom in Matthew 18. Okay. If you want access, I keep saying this, I keep forgetting to take the price up. Over Christmas, I did a sale on God Goals and Money Income Accelerator. Can I stress this to y'all? I did a sale, then my site went down, and I've been focusing on rebuilding Better Than Success. I have been forgetting to go in and change the price. So what you can do is, if you want to learn more, Take the webinar down below. I explain everything about God Goes and Money. Plus, I tell you what the four phase framework is to get clarity in your business and automate your income. I just did it, right? I just did this in front of y'all faces to automate my income. Okay, I just did it right in front of y'all. Remember, I said like this is all ordained because God was like, okay, now I want you to show them how you're doing it. And so, had the website crash didn't happen, I wouldn't be able to sit here and be like, y'all just watched me. And I'm really shout out to everybody who's been signing up for the program. I'm super, super grateful. Okay, anyways, my point that I'm making is if you want, you could take the webinar down below. I go through my 4-phase framework that I teach in the God Goals and Money. This is for you if you need to 3x to 10x your business. Like everything in here is designed to automate your income and free up your time, 3x to 10x your income. Okay. Sign up for the webinar below. If you want to just go ahead and skip, because you already know that I've been doing this for 15 years. I've been teaching this type of stuff for over 10 years. 10, 12 years. If y'all been taking my classes and y'all know I always bring high five flames, sign up before I take the price back up from $1,000 to $2,000. I really want to take it to $2,500. I'm going to pray on it. But right now it is $1,000. All right. I don't get my baby soon. Next thing I want to talk about is, you know what? I'm going to scrap everything that's here from the newsletter. There's some fire in the newsletter. I do want to talk about this one thing. Y'all already know last weekend, as of recording this, last weekend, TikTok got shut down and turned back on. I'm off Instagram. I have not been on Instagram for about a month. I love my life without Instagram. Instagram is the worst. I don't even want to log in. I want to delete all my old content. I don't even want to log in. I go on my computer once a week just to check my DMs because y'all be hitting me up. It be money in there. But like, I can't stand that app. I can't stand that app for a number of reasons. One, when I think about what Instagram represents, it is a way to keep you from growing. And it is a way that the oligarchs that run this country, it is a form of mind control because it's not a search engine. They have to keep you in the app. Like, so YouTube and TikTok, they operate like a search engine where you can tell it what you want. Like TikTok is not an actual search engine, but it operates like a search engine. YouTube is. You can search for what you want and it'll be like, okay, this is what you're into right now. We'll show you what you're into. Or you went down this rabbit hole. We'll give you more of that. Instagram doesn't operate like that. You cannot change your algorithm. I think it's a way that you can refresh it, but the way that their algorithm works is it's not designed to give you what you want to feed you as a growing person. Is designed to keep you who you are. This is why you go to Instagram and you don't see anything that you want. You won't see your people who follow you, who you follow. And it gives you a bunch of stuff that you're weirdly attracted to because it's using some type of mind control to keep you in the app. They don't care. They're not like, we're not going to give you what you think you want. This is why everybody's going so hard for TikTok, even the non-creators, because for those of you who are not on TikTok, it is just a space for you to. Now, granted, it is also another form of mind control, but it allows you to grow and it gives you more of what you at least believe that you want. Instagram doesn't do that. And so I stayed on Instagram for years because I thought this is how I make my money. I got offered 2 months and made more money than I made in a long time. Isn't that crazy? That ad. Only time I might get on is if I'm doing some ads. All right. So last thing I want to talk about is how blessed am I? So 3 weeks ago, I didn't know where my next dollar was coming from. And for those of y'all, if this is your first episode that you're listening to, go back and hear my story about, okay, I've been an entrepreneur for 15 years and I've accomplished a lot, but hear my story about how my site got hacked, okay? 3 weeks ago, I didn't know where my next dollar was coming from, but this week, I am going to be attending what I call Wall Star Weekend in Las Vegas. Okay, what is Wall Star Weekend? Okay, so couple things. Me and my fund managers, my co-fund managers, there's three of us. We started a real estate investing, a private equity fund, investing in apartment buildings where we provide mental wellness amenities. I know. Remember, I told you I wasn't going to give y'all our investment thesis. We're investing in B-class apartment buildings, 80 to 125 units, focusing on providing mental wellness amenities. Okay. Everyone loves it. It's a brilliant idea. I feel very passionate about it because mental wellness is very much so tied to your environment and where you live. I grew up right next to the projects and had a lot of anxiety that I still fight to this day as a result of where I grew up. So I'm very passionate about this. Okay. So we started this fund and then we joined this community. It's a community for people who start private equity funds, not just real estate funds. It's people's hedge funds people in there, it's crypto people in there, all that stuff. So we joined this community as a bomb. So they have an event that they do. They do events quarterly. So they got an event in Vegas. We go on to that event. Me and actually all three of us are now going. Vegas is not too far from me. Y'all know I live in LA. And going to that, then we're also going to do a golf outing, which I'm really excited. This is like, I'm finally going to be with my tribe again. I'm so excited. People are doing private equity funds, like, bro, and this community is not cheap. So, like, I'm so excited. I can't describe it. So then, come to find out, this event was built around a larger event. And the reason why I call this whole weekend, it's not really a weekend, it's the week. The weekend, Wall Star Weekend, like All Star Weekend, is because I had to explain to my dad, who is helping to raise capital for the fund, also want to watch my son for these days, what this event is. So come to find out, our community, the community that we're a part of, they built their event around this other event. Okay. And the best way that I can make an analogy to my dad so he would understand is All-Star Weekend. Hey, we were originally going to the Nike party, but All-Star Game, right? Because Nike always has a party during All-Star Weekend. The All-Star Game, I now have tickets to, which the All-Star Game is a private event for investors. They do 8-to-1 investors, capital raisers. So there, for every capital raiser like me, it's 8 investors. The last time they had an event, it was $200 billion in the room. You have to apply, be interviewed, and get accepted, and it costs $1,500. And guess what? I applied, got interviewed, got accepted, and shout out to my partner who made sure I was in the room. And you can't bring more than one person. So I'm going to Wall Star Weekend. Okay, why is it called Wall Star Weekend? Because I gave my dad the analogy. When he understood it, he only understands sports. So he was like, oh, okay, I get it. This is a big deal. And then I said, it's like white people All-Star Weekend. And then I was like, Wall Star Weekend. So it's called Wall Star Weekend. So I'm going to try to get as much B-roll as possible because I'm so not living my life where I'm capturing everything. I'm just enjoying myself. I'm just enjoying myself being in the room with billionaires. And like, some of the people that are going to be there, I built great relationships with online in our community, and I can't wait to meet them. And these guys are like really, really successful. And I'm just so excited about the things that we're learning to be able to offer through our fund that will make our fund a premium investing experience for our investors. Okay. By the way, hopefully if I get this episode out before tomorrow, which is the 21st, and you guys watch this on the 21st before 4 p.m. Eastern time, we're going to do a pitch of our fund, and we're going to let you sit in on it. So the link for that will be down below as well. But we want to do another pitch because we did a pitch before. I'll paste the old pitch down below so you can compare them, right? If you decide you want to do a fund. And by the way, if you decide that you want to do a fund, everything in Better Than Success, which you only have 20 days before I close the doors to our real estate club, everything in it is designed to help educate me about funds, but also educate you guys about investing, which we've been doing for the past almost 10 years, right? Investing, doing 1 to 4 units, coming in, laying a foundation so that you understand about 1 to 4 units, and scaling up so that you either invest in someone else's fund, because you can absolutely retire off of private equity investing in other people's funds, make a lot of money, a fund like ours. You can also retire very quickly from your 9 to 5, starting your own fund, or you can do syndication. So everything is designed to help with that as well. So if you want to join Better Than Success, I'm sorry the discount's over, but you can go down below. Come February 1, the doors will close. I'm not in bringing in new members because I'm starting a $15 million fund. And all I want to do is educate myself, educate our members in our community, focus on that, focus on this other community that we're in, these other people's community, and raise private capital. I am not going to be sitting here begging y'all. Only times I'm going to be on here pitching anything to you guys is the God Goals and Money Income Accelerator. I'm not pitching BTS to y'all no more. I just don't want to have this conversation no more. Not even I got my members back. Like, my income is automated. Like, I got my members back, and the community is helping me because y'all know when I started this, I didn't know nothing. So the community is helping me, and now I'm starting a $15 million fund with my two of my best friends who are freaking brilliant, who own thousands of units, and we about to hang out at Wall Star Weekend. I'm not gonna be begging y'all to join BTS. I'm gonna get out of here. I'm not gonna be talking about that. Nothing is. I'm not begging y'all, but like, it's just not a conversation that I want to continue to have because it's low. It's not what. It's just not my mission right now. That's it. The people that's in is in. They're going to scale, but I'm not going to keep on introducing new people, taking them through the journey. I don't mind it, but I am one person and I got all these other things that I'm doing. Speaking of which, I told y'all last week that we're going to do a challenge. I can't do the challenge because now I'm going to Wall Star Weekend. So I think I even had a link on the last episode about the challenge, and I got to postpone the challenge called Beyond the Basics. Literally showing y'all the steps to scaling up. Even if you've never done real estate before, how to get here, but I can't do it because I'm going to Wall Star Weekend. So I got to reschedule that. I got to send an email out telling everybody I'm rescheduling it. Okay. All right, y'all. I actually got to go. All the links down below is all the links down below. Also, one other thing on this podcast coming up soon, we're going to have some guests. I'm going to bring my partners on. One of them is already scheduled. I got some fire guests for y'all. And we're going to have a grand old time. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I got to go get my baby from school. I am running late. I love y'all. I want y'all to have an amazing day, and get your links down below.
Let's go. Yes. Can never play a part, y'all start. Nah. So real, it's all so live. It's better than success from the east to the west. Worldwide, it's all so live. Yes. Knowledge seeming vast, politicking over cash. This podcast is also live. It's better than success from the east to the west. It's worldwide and also live. When we roll it down, BTS Connect, stay busy. You know now, only less enlightened like who is she? It's Nikki. Pay your mind bound to drop a gem on you. What you hear it now, puts it down like the signature. Run and hit it, yeah. A business mind frame exhibitor. Ain't no pitting ya against the modern style literature. Beyond expenditure, I give you something that'll stick with you forever. Better than success, nothing better. You know the flavor. You never play a part, y'all star. Nah. So real and also live. Yes. It's better than success from the east to the west. It's worldwide and also live. Yeah, now. Knowledge seeming vast, politicking over cash. This podcast is also live. It's better than success from the east to the west. It's worldwide and also live. So now what you gon' do? It's so real, it's also live. It's better than success from the east to the west. Worldwide and also live. Yeah, it's better than success. It's all Scott. Yeah. Let's go.